Okay, Ms. Smith, I have 4 complaints for you, Ms. Smith, here that I filled out that we can get started on just to show the people on YouTube how much of a fallacy this entire compliance and privacy and everything else is going to be, and how much non-accountability there's going to be, even though that's the reason I came, was to seek accountability. We'll have to judge by results, or lack of them thereof, but this is going to be on video. My first complaint here, and there are many complaints. Many days I was denied services, but we're going to go backwards, but I'm going to give you a few now just to see what result it's produced. And if the result that's produced is that the victim is further victimized and harmed, and there's no damages, and there's no restitution, and there's no civility, and there's no accountability, it'll be here on YouTube for the whole world to see what a farce this will all be. On 8/15/12, the video is on YouTube. I came with a friend to the Department of Public Health at 101 Grove seeking medical services, humanity, and civility, for I'd been denied for years. DPH and the sheriff at that point produced a bogus restraining order against me, and then when I went to go find out, I found out that it was false. When I went to the DA to press charges, the DA told me he didn't care about my legal rights. So I'm seeking accountability, damages, an understanding as to why this could happen, you know, all the intricate players, and a full accountability. So here it is on this particular complaint. There's one. My second complaint that I'm going to give you today is that today I went down to 25 Van Ness to list a complaint. 25 Van Ness is where you go to the sheriff's, I guess, internal affairs or special victim unit or whatever, is where you go to complain. I went there to complain about the false arrest that I had from their officer on 224 here at 101 Grove, seeking my health care and appointment, and to follow up with the PIO officer. And then I also spoke to them about the Friday incident that happened at San Francisco General. I wanted to file a complaint over what I was told by that officer and video recording, the fact that I had taken videos of the hospital video recording and asked the hospital, that officer, to have the hospital arrested, which is good for the goose is good for the gander. And I was told that that would not happen, but that only I would be arrested by the officer as further harassment, vexation, intimidation on their part. So I went to the sheriff's internal investigation, you know, and told them that I have an ADA thing, that under programmatic access I need to record, video record, just, you know, for me to feel safe, because everywhere I go it's all rigged, and this is the only thing that proves to me that, you know, I've done things correctly. And of course I was denied that. They never came out into the public area to serve me. They never gave me any access and accommodation, which is a violation of my ADA rights. You know, more harm, more damages. And this is not the first time this has happened at 25 Van Ness for all my complaints. It's a habitual pattern, and that is on YouTube for you to go check also. So that's my second complaint. My third complaint is that today I also went to room 456. I'm sorry, I lied. I think it was on Friday. I went to room 456. It could have been today. There's been so much going on. Anyway, I went to room 456. The sheriff's department told me that I could not videotape in a public office. When I pointed out that, you know, I had taken my video that the hospital had done so that I could ask their department to have them arrested, I was told that would not happen. The officers told me basically good day. I've been subjected to non-performance for all the law-breaking activity by the sheriff. In addition, this ADA person, being myself, has not received the ADA help that I've requested from the sheriff's department, nor the accountability from the sheriff. I'm still asking for equal protection to have the hospital arrested for the same charges that I was arrested for. You know, to make sure that the sheriff is here, not just as a risk management tool for the Department of Public Health and the San Francisco General Hospital and 25 Van Ness and all these other buildings that supposedly has sole jurisdiction to deny citizens their police rights to any of these buildings. You know, I want, you know, for this to all come out. And, you know, I was arrested myself on 11/27/13 for seeking records and videotaping at the hospital. And, you know, as more investigation is done into this, you'll see the duplicity, you'll see the double standards, and you'll certainly see the harm and damages afforded to this victim. So that's my third complaint. My fourth complaint is that on Friday I was harassed and intimidated when I went to San Francisco General to ask to have the hospital arrested for videotaping, for which I had been arrested before. I was told by the officer that he would arrest me and me only, and that's on YouTube, and the video is 050815, San Francisco General and Sheriff Lawbreaking is how it's entitled. Under the color of authority, this particular officer violated my rights, could not quote me the law, and I fear for going back, to voice all my complaints to the hospital and their patient advocacy if I can't even get proper treatment by the sheriff, who is the lapdog for the Department of Public Health and the San Francisco General Hospital, to evade people their rights, but certainly not to help them. The sheriff was not there for me, the patient. He was not there at all when I went to San Francisco General. All he did was try to intimidate me, and whatever else comes up in this investigation, if there's other violations, I would like for them to be fully pressed, because I do seek accountability. I do seek my damages for the harm, and I seek for this to be corrected so that it doesn't happen to anyone else. So here are the 4 things that I'm complaining about now, and there are many, many, many complaints. But we'll judge as to whether I'm wasting my time or not by complaining to you guys by watching the results of these complaints. Whether or not I get damages for all this illegal activity, whether or not these things are corrected, whether or not the law is enforced, or whether or not I'm just going to go through what I went through, back in 2001 when the hospital first broke the law of lying, deceit, only to sign a confession years later through the Office of Inspector General, which is on my own private Guantanamo.com. At no point in the last 15 years have I been afforded any civility for continuing to tell the truth and having the law broken against me. So, I will drink your cup of poison. I will wait to see. And I'm telling you, I will wait longer than a couple of weeks, a month at the most, because time is ticking by. And I realize that that's another risk management tool by the city to have time tick by so that you can't file a lawsuit or a complaint timely, because, complaints and everything else drag out forever. And of course, there's no resolution ever offered except for the victim to get over it and to continue to get screwed by a system which is unaccountable, which is what I'm going to prove right here on the videos. Unless, of course, you disprove me by coming back with accountability, contrition, damages for all these complaints. Anything short of that will be a farce. So, is there anything you'd like to say about that?
No.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go ahead and leave it in your capable hands, hopefully, to see just what a result is. In the meantime, can I go back to San Francisco General to continue to follow up on, videotaping myself trying to give them complaints and everything else, or will I be arrested by the sheriff?
I do not know what the sheriff will do if you go to San Francisco.
Well, can you find out so that I will know? Can you call me tomorrow and find out? So that way I can wait a day or two before I go.
I can't.
You can't answer?
No.
Well, who can answer this? Because I don't want to be harassed and intimidated by the sheriff's department when I get there seeking to follow up on my complaints to the hospital for all their law-breaking activity, and for me videotaping the receipt of that, which is not illegal. Is it illegal for me to videotape?
There's a policy against videotaping.
Wonderful. A policy. Is it illegal? Is there a law?
I can't answer that.
So is a policy a law?
I can't answer that.
You can't answer that? A policy isn't a law or is a law?
I can't answer.
So then why did you throw out that there's a policy if it's not the law, which is what I asked for? Isn't that subterfuge? Isn't that diversion?
I don't know.
Isn't that misleading me?
I don't know.
Who does?
I don't know.
You don't know. How about your superior, Ms. Martinez?
I don't know
If she doesn't know, how about Ms. Garcia, the Director of Public Health?
I don't know.
Can you find out who can know so that I can come and ask this question, so that I can feel safe to go back to the hospital to follow up on giving complaints about all the illegalities and me videotaping myself doing that?
I would suggest that you fill out a complaint about that, and I can get that answered. I don't want to interpret what your statement is to me. So the best that I can offer you is to put that down in a complaint, that you don't know if you can go back to the hospital and complain. That's fine.
Maybe I should make a complaint about not being able to get the answers from you that I'm asking right now.
Do that. If
You know, that the compliance and privacy is not able to answer these simple questions.
You can do that, Mr.
All right, why don't we see how wonderfully you handle these complaints before I make a complaint about your non-performance and inabilities.
Okay.
All right, so how long is it going to be before I hear something on this?
I do not know.
So does that mean for the next 2 weeks I can't go to the hospital because you do not know on things?
I don't know. If you want to go to the hospital, you can go to the hospital. What will they say to you? I don't know.
Well,
I'm
you're
not
for
there.
compliance for the Department of Public Health, correct?
I don't know.
Aren't you compliance, once again, for the Department of Public Health?
I'm being compliant right now by listening to a concern consumer who has some concerns.
That's your definition of compliance.
Right now it is.
Okay, and my definition of compliance is having the law followed.
I understand that's what you want.
That's correct. So is it against the law for me to videotape the receipt of my health care or giving my complaints at San Francisco General? You don't know? Find out. Your compliance. Thank you. Get a hold of me in the next 2 or 3 days with the answer. Thank you.
I will not address that unless.
No,
you fill
I
out
will
the
not
complaint.
until I find out what you've done for the rest of these. In the meantime, people can see on YouTube that you're not being helpful in compliance. Thank you.
Mr. Garza,
Miss Smith.
I am not intimidated,
Neither am I.
and I
Thank
do
you.
not need
Thank you.
to
Neither am I.
respond
No, you don't.
to
The
the
people will
fact
see.
that I'm on YouTube.
I don't.
It's okay.
It's okay too. I agree. They'll see that I'm asking simple questions that can't be answered by compliance.
Okay.
Thank you.
What